I've always been drawn to places that most people avoid. Deserted highways, old, crumbling buildings. Places that make you feel like you're the only one left in the world. That sense of isolation never really scared me. Until I visited Bald Knob Fire Tower. I can still feel the chill in the air when I think about it. It wasn't just the cold, there was something else in that forest. Watching. I heard about the Bald Knob Fire Tower from an old article I stumbled across online. It's a forgotten relic standing high above the forests of southern Oregon. Not many people go there anymore. And those that do, well, they don't always come back with stories they want to tell. It was built in the 1930s to spot fires, but over the years it's become known for something else. I read enough to know that strange things happen around that tower, but I thought maybe it was just talk. You know, local legends, ghost stories people tell to keep others away. Still, that curiosity kept gnawing at me. So, one crisp October morning, I decided to see for myself. I started early. The hike up to the fire tower isn't easy. 4.5 miles of rugged terrain with barely any signs of life. I thought it would be peaceful, but right from the start something felt wrong. I kept expecting to hear birds or even the scurrying of animals, but there was nothing. Just the sound of my own footsteps. Every now and then, a branch would snap somewhere in the distance, but when I turned to look, no one was there. At first I told myself it was just my imagination, the quiet getting to me, but then I started seeing things. Shadows moving just beyond the trees. At one point I thought I saw a person. They were far off, just standing there, watching me. When I blinked, they were gone. I tried to brush it off. I figured maybe it was another hiker or some animal I hadn't noticed. But something about the way it moved, or rather the way it didn't move, it wasn't right. It just stood there like it was waiting for something. As I got closer to the tower, the air changed. It got colder, despite the fact that the sun was still shining. The wind picked up, but it didn't feel natural. It was almost as if it was whispering. I couldn't make out what it was saying, but it was there, this low hum, just beneath the sound of the wind. And then I saw the tower. It was massive, bigger than I expected. Standing at the base of it, I could hear the metal creaking in the wind. Each step I took toward it felt heavier, like something was pulling me back, but I kept going. The higher I climbed, the more I felt like I wasn't alone. I know it sounds crazy, but there was this presence, like something was watching me from the trees below. I kept looking down, expecting to see someone, but there was no one. Just the wind howling through the tower, and then I heard it. It was faint at first, almost like the wind was speaking. But then it got louder. It sounded like someone was calling my name. I stopped, gripping the railing. I looked down, and that's when I saw it. There was someone down there. Or at least I thought there was. They were standing at the edge of the forest, just watching me. My heart started racing, and for the first time, I felt real fear. Not the kind of fear you get from being alone, but the kind you get when you realize something isn't right. I couldn't stay up there any longer. I started climbing down, my footsteps echoing through the empty tower. Every time I looked down, I saw the figure still there watching me. I moved faster, the metal stairs groaning with every step. And as I got closer to the ground, I heard it again. I ran. I didn't look back. The whole time I could feel something behind me, following me down the trail. The wind howled, almost like it was chasing me. By the time I made it back to my car, I was shaking. I looked back up at the tower, but it was hidden behind the trees. Whatever was watching me, it was still up there. I've been to a lot of strange places, but the Bald Knob Fire Tower, that's one place I won't be going back to. There's something out there in those woods, something that doesn't want to be disturbed. Even now, years later, when I hike alone, I wonder,